Switch chat room, take one.
What comes to mind when you think about prayer?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about prayer is talking to Jesus.
Relationship.
Conversation.
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about prayer is peace. You know, when I'm talking with God, I feel an unending sense of peace and just stillness in the moments that we share together.
For me, it's conversation. So it's not like I feel like I can go to him, just have a normal conversation. Like, he is my friend, so it's like a really great friend conversation. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
Growing up, who or what shaped your view of prayer?
It would have to be my parents. My parents have always been very deeply invested in prayer.
Yeah, kind of along the same lines. For me, it was my mom. She was one of the strongest people I've ever seen pray. And it was just incredible watching her as I was growing up, on her knees all the time praying. And it was that's who shaped me.
Yeah, for me, it was both of my parents, my mom and my dad. And I'm really grateful and thankful that they taught me how to pray.
My parents as well, they showed me the importance of prayer. They told me about it, but they also demonstrated it as well.
Have you found it hard to pray in certain seasons?
I've had a really rocky relationship with God for a while. I used to actually really hate him. I used to not want anything to do with him, and I was in this just emotional crisis of unanswered prayers that I had believed so much in that God was going to do it, because in the Bible it says that he's going to be there, that he's going to be your shelter. He's going to love you. He's always going to answer you. And I hadn't felt those prayers answered. I had felt that he was just there listening, or sometimes he wasn't even listening at all, but he wouldn't do anything. And so that was something that really impacted my relationship with him. And just, I was in a very tragic place where I didn't even want to talk to him at all.
For me, I think one of the moments that comes to mind is when one of the most difficult moments of my life, where I experienced my first panic attack. And I didn't fully understand what was happening to me in that moment. So I was trying to pray, but I couldn't feel like it was going away. So it came to this moment of I don't even know what to say. I would just be honest with God in that moment, but it was really hard for me to okay, I'm praying, but I don't see the answer. I don't feel any better right now.
Think about when I was 9 and when my mom passed away, and just kind of thinking to myself, where is God in this moment? Why did this happen? And just not being able, just not physically being able to bring myself to pray.
How have you pushed through those times when you didn't feel like God was answering?
For me, it was people that helped me get through it. My grandma, some friends at church, and they were the rock of prayer that I needed when I didn't know that I needed, and when I didn't know what to ask for. And they were always there. They never stopped praying for me. They never stopped praying with me. And just that, it was that community of people and that prayer that never stopped is what kept me there and what kept me going.
I got my first church invite, and that just took me out of the pit where I was, that I was so focused on hating God and trying to make it seem like I was doing everything right and by myself. And, God put people in my life to pull me out of that, to show me that he was still there, even though I didn't want anything to do with him. He still wanted everything to do with me and with my life.
I would say my Nana. My Nana would always be there for me, and she would always pray for me. And she would text me at the times where I was low and I didn't know what to do, because I always felt like God wasn't there, but God was there. He was always there from the beginning to the end. And so she would text me random times, and it's like she would know when to text me. And it was just so crazy, because I know he said something to my Nana, text him, text your grandson, but it's amazing how God can do wonderful things and how he can use people.
I remember being in this state of just fear and not really knowing how to pray in this moment right now. And like, whenever a friend would come visit, they would just like sit with me, even if I couldn't speak or anything, they would just like pray over me. And I know that they would also like pray continually for me and also like my family as well. So I think that aspect of community is so important to have, because they're there in those moments that are like crucial for us. So yeah.
Are there any prayer techniques that have been helpful to you?
A prayer journal, like to write down like different prayer requests that you may have. Whether somebody asks you to hey, like pray for this specific thing. So you just write it down. And if you have your own like personal like prayer requests, write them down. And in the moment that you take to pray during the day or at night, you just check your prayer journal. And as you pray, you have the list and you like make sure you don't forget anything and all that. So it's really good. Like it's worked for me. Yeah,
a type of, I would say prayer technique that I really, really love using is silence and solitude, of just going in. I love going into a dark room and just putting on some worship music and just having a conversation like I would do, like if I go out to meet someone.
Yeah, no, I'm along the same line with you. Just the silence, the solitude, nothing beats like when I get home at night as I'm going to bed. It's the last thing I do at night, and it's the first thing I do when I wake up, and it's just incredible.
Yeah. You don't have to be formal. Like we don't have to be formal when we go to him. Like we can like be ourselves. For me, like God has a sense of humor, and I can just tell him like how I'm feeling and like that I would use if I were talking to a friend. Like, so yeah. And also it means like just going in a separate space with him and just cry if I need to, or, you know, so it's really great that we have a God that we can go to that's like accessible and that we can be ourselves.
What's one practical thing you want to try based on this conversation?
I think for me is just silence and solitude more, as I need to get into.
For me, I think it's the prayer journal. Like I've thought about it before. Like I've thought about it, put it off, because I like to write and I like to journal anyway. But like, I don't know, I've just never like actually done a prayer journal. And I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, I think for me, it would probably be reaching out to friends. You know, because like a friend reached out to me and they really they were used by God and they saved my life. They changed my eternity. And, you know, it would be selfish of me to just keep this good news for myself and to just be like, I'm not going to tell anyone about this.
Separate, I guess, more time for it. Because sometimes like I get involved in like, okay, what I'm doing today, all the tasks that I need to do and all that. But then like I also have to separate that time with God and just focus just only on that during that time. So yeah, I would say that.